to Andriy Yermak, Chief of Staff to Ukraine's president. The discoveries add tensions to US pressure on India over its trade ties with Russia. President Trump recently threatened a 25% tariff on Indian imports, including a penalty for purchasing Russian oil. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov condemned Trump's remarks, calling them illegal coercion. Peskov emphasized that sovereign nations like India have the right to choose their trade partners and economic cooperation freely. New Delhi has rejected Washington's threats as unjustified and unreasonable, stating its oil imports from Russia are essential to ensure predictable and affordable energy for its citizens. The trade disagreement underscores growing tensions among Washington, Moscow and New Delhi. Well, Peter, thank you for staying with us. Let's first look at trade, specifically the trade of oil. Of course, comments there from Peskov in Russia. How significant is this sort of potential destabilization from the US? Russia's saying that countries can pick their own trading partners. India, of course, saying that it's more important to focus on the needs of the citizens and stability for an economy of almost 1.5 billion people. Do you think the US is potentially destabilizing the situation here for countries through their policies?
Well, everybody has the right to trade to whom they want to trade with. Of course, you know, President Trump is basically tightening the screws on India, and he's trying to get that oil business. Now, does that mean that you're going to get it all? No, probably not. But does that mean that there might be a compromise somewhere along the line? I would imagine yes. But since the United States is the United States, and since the United States is the largest trading partner in the world with most countries, obviously it can demand certain requests. But does it necessarily mean that they will be honored? My guess is not. My guess is that India and even other nations will eventually engage in buying U.S. oil as well. That doesn't mean that they're going to have to abandon Russia or any other country that they deal with, but they would have to give, I would imagine, to smooth down the diplomatic disagreement that's going on, and of course the threats by the Trump administration, that they will play the same game as they've been playing all along. At the end, they will give in. Do they give in to 100%?
Yes.
No, I don't think so.
Peter, I'm conscious of how much time we have left, and I do have a couple of quick points I want to cover. So if we could keep this shorter. Donald Trump's remarks relating to India purchasing Russian oil, Russia has called it illegal coercion. How do you see the way that Trump is using tariffs?
Well, again, I think it's just a threat, and I don't think it's a de facto situation.
Yes, and Peter, finally, of course, Ukraine say that they found Russian drones containing Indian parts. What could be the ramification for India? We've seen, and we broke earlier today, that the EU is potentially thinking about sanctions on China for potential Chinese parts in Russian drones. Could this potentially blow up to a wider geopolitical issue impacting countries like India and China, along with regions like the EU?
Absolutely, and that might be one of the reasons why we're seeing these steep tariffs, threats of steep tariffs and penalties being talked about, potentially being imposed on India.
Peter, thank you ever so much for your time.